My name is Thao Lam, and I'm the creator of The Paper Boat with Our Kids Books for fall of 2020. The Paper Boat is about the flight of refugees. I was 2 when my family fled Vietnam. It was my mother and my father. My mom was 3 months pregnant, and we got on a homemade boat and crossed the South China Sea. We landed in Malaysia, where a refugee camp was set up, and we stayed there for 6 months before we accepted the Canadian government's offer to start a new life in Canada. So I was trying to figure out how to overcome hardship and trying to figure out what were all the steps that led me to the place that I was currently at, which was going through a divorce and like my family breaking up. And I decided that I was gonna ask my parents about how they survived the journey and how they started over in Canada. My parents don't talk about the war or the journey because they were probably traumatized. My mother, as long as I can remember, used to tell me a story about how her mother would leave a bowl of sugar water out on the table and in order to capture the ants because they were being pests. And she would sit there and she would rescue these ants. On the night we were escaping, my mother had gotten lost and in the tall grass, and so she saw a trail of ants in the moonlight and she decided to follow them, and they led her to the river where the boat was waiting to take us from Vietnam. I did a lot of research on ants and on Vietnam, and the one thing I learned while I was piecing together my family's journey was that ants are very similar to refugees. Like, they're very hardworking, they're willing to sacrifice and take lots of risks in order to save their family. I have a daughter named Maddie, and she's currently 6. When I started the project, Maddie was the same age I was when my family fled Vietnam. At 3, her comments were more observant. Like, oh, why are you and Nana running away from your home? Now that Maddie is 6, she's asking tougher questions. She's asking what is war, and she wants to know why the soldiers are chasing her Nana and her mom. She wants to know why people are being mean. In a way, I feel like my parents when I asked them that question, and I could see how difficult it was as a parent to answer those questions. I tell her the same story my mother told me, which is the story about the ants. What was great about the paper boat, was that it started a conversation. It doesn't have the answers to the conversation, but it sparked her interest. Like, Maddie is born here in Canada. I would like her to have empathy and understand that, like, these people don't make these choices lightly, right? They're hard decisions to make. Like, who would volunteer to put their child on a boat with no direction, right? When I was young, I never understood why my parents made this choice. But I think now that I'm older and I'm a parent, like, I understand, right? I feel like you can't quite figure out who you are until you know kind of like where you came from, right? Talking about your family history, even though it could be tragic, could be inspiring and encouraging.